This is the Dos Cero podcast, a weekly show devoted to football in Mexico, the U.S., and beyond. If you are a Pocho, Puma, Regio, Chiva, Cholo, Fresa, Tigre, Tapatío, Chilango, or even a Methodist, pull up a chair, crack open a cold one, and enjoy the next 90 minutes of heated football debate. Thus begins the Dos Cero podcast.
Good evening and welcome to the Dos Cero Football Podcast, Yamerito production brought to you by SoccerChronicle.com. My name is John Jagu. Glad that you're joining us this evening. We have another roundtable, a very animated discussion of what we have just seen in Liga MX with the semifinal. First leg between Club America and Monterrey, which went to the home side, which in this case is Club America. Congratulations to them. 90 minutes more, and they'll make their what seems like their 20th final in the past 5 years. A very good spell that Club America has had. We'll also be talking a little bit about Copa America Centenario rosters coming out. Obviously, Mexico can't ever do anything without having a huge controversy, which I think is part of the reason why they do it the way they do it. We'll talk about that as well. And if we have time, maybe we'll talk Leon Pachucas if anybody really cares about that game anyway. But anyway, let's get right to it. Let's get to our cast of thousands we have with us tonight. We have with us over in Kyle, Texas, in southeast Travis County, we have Alberto El Chiquis Campa. Alberto, how are you?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Good to be here. Enjoying a pretty awesome game, back and forth action.
Yeah, I think this game and the Pumas game last night was pretty interesting. So we'll talk about that in more detail. Over in Arizona, a gentleman who, frankly, even though he won't admit it, has to be a little nervous with how things are going for his team, losing over the weekend, even though they advanced, and losing the first leg here. But I'm sure he feels that their resolve will be enough to carry them through, and that's, of course, Fernando Regino. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, and thank you for putting words in my mouth, John. Yes, it was a great match. I really enjoyed it. It was back and forth, and America really we have to do their Ave Marias because the next game is going to be totally different.
They're playing the next game up in the Tamalera, so it's definitely going to be a little bit more interesting. We'll see how that plays out. Now, somebody who, in our weekly discussion this week, and I might have to preface this is probably the biggest Chivas fan I've ever met in my life. We're talking about Joel Aceves. Not only did he pick America to win this game, but he picked America to win the championship and said that he respects and admires what Club America is doing. And this is written down. This is in the public record now. So for you Chivas fans that are listening and want to maybe have a few words offline with this gentleman. Of course, I'm talking about Joel Aceves. How are you, Joel?
Doing good, John. When you put it that way, though, I might have to reconsider how I say things.
You sound like Judas, dude.
No, it's
No, that wasn't that.
Credit where credit is due.
Well, you have a healthy respect for your opponent. You have to like it, but you have to respect what they're doing when they're doing things well. I get that. I understand. I'll if you need representation, Joel, give me a call. We will advocate it. And then over in Philadelphia, a gentleman who must be happy with the result tonight, even though his team was probably unlucky to get more than just the one goal, but they did what they needed to do. They scored a goal at home, won at home, very important. 90 more minutes, and they'll be winning their 90th championship. Of course, we're talking about Club America. We're talking about Ronnie De Luna up in Philadelphia.
Hey, how you doing, John? How are you guys doing today?
How's life up in Filitepec?
Weather's just, pretty crappy. Just it's like, rains a lot, or, it was actually cold a couple days ago, so kind of crappy weather right now.
It seems like it really does a number on the cats. Cats start acting very crazy when the weather goes to Philadelphia.
It does. Damn cats. Especially like in these row homes and stuff like that.
I've heard that
But
the Western Philadelphia row house cat is very dangerous. They have to really like they're beyond feral. They're almost like little wildcats. You really have to keep an eye on them.
yeah, you do.
I
You do.
understand. So you're our resident Club America expert. Your impression on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you feel about making the final? Go.
Uh, 7. Monterrey's still a very dangerous team. And obviously you got the officials. You have that narco money from Monterrey, FEMSA.
Hey, but
Um,
you have the advantage. Still want to bet?
Let's let the man speak, friend. Everyone has a fair shot at this table. Well, don't make me
Just say.
bring my bad cop. I have a bad cop tonight, so
Oh
just
yeah.
don't watch. I do. I have a bad cop.
Y usted no me va a decir qué carajo tengo que hacer.
So just be careful.
That's great.
Just be careful. I have a bad cop.
so
So you don't want to rile up Duca.
no. I don't know, man. That one goal. I mean, I'm glad that that Monterrey didn't score because the away goal. Even if America wins, they lose 2-1 or 3-2 or whatever.
Well, right now they have the advantage. I mean, really, America has the advantage because since Monterrey didn't score any away goals, then
Yeah.
But if Club America scores 1, that forces Monterrey, in this case, to score 3.
Yeah. Score 3. So.
Yeah.
So I mean, I am happy. I am happy about that. But a couple of weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, I said something about Nacho Ambriz, like as opposed from last season to this season, how he's changed a little the tactics. I mean, he's being a little bit more reserved.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think that he's put on the La Puente chapeau? Honestly, looking at this team.
You know what? I'm actually seeing a little bit of at least just this. I mean, just the last couple of games. I'm not saying the entire season, but I'm seeing a little thing. I'm seeing things that like I don't understand. But he's proving me wrong. So I mean, that's always a good thing. It's like
Is it a good thing to prove you wrong, or a good thing?
Well, I mean,
have it?
well, like for example, like and I said this, before, like for example, years ago when America brought on, Mario Carrillo, I was like totally against it, but then hey, he shut me up, and like both times, Carrillo went to America. I mean, he kicked ass. Same thing with Piojo. I wasn't a really big fan of Piojo coming in, but hell, him and Piojo, him and Peláez, they really changed the direction of the team.
I don't think there's any question if Mexico has a much more stable national team management, then that if Piojo didn't have to go in and bail him out, it wouldn't shock me at all if he would still be the team at Club America. I think that he's the kind of guy that could stay somewhere 6-7 years until his either his mouth runs him out or whatever. But it seemed like they've certainly changed their ways. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that Club America was run by a guy whose claim to fame was that he had a certificate from the Cruyff Institute as the only reason he was the president of.
He was a sales he was
he
was a sales director for Televisa.
No, there you go.
He was pathetic. I mean, for no football. I mean, so Peláez, obviously educated, but he knows, he's got the football experience, and he can he's like that bridge between the management and the sporting aspect of it.
Yeah, well, he understands the sporting aspect of it, which helps him make decisions. His decision tree is going to be a little different than a sales guy, and the sales guy is looking at
yeah,
sales.
And and also one of the things, I mean, like, that I'm not liking, but I mean it's just a league-wide problem. I mean, not for Chivas, but I do wish that that Peláez would, and I understand why he's not doing it, but I mean, I do wish that they would play a little bit more of the canteranos, from the youth teams, because they're doing pretty well. But all in due time. That should be the national anthem of Mexico.
Do you think so?
Cállese, carajo.
Now, it's interesting that you say that, Ronnie. I was thinking about the chat that Joel and I had this week. For those of you who haven't read it, it's on soccerchronicle.com. I really do recommend that you tune into our new weekly feature,
Good stuff, by the way. Good
the
stuff.
Gentleman's Agreement. The Gentleman's Agreement that we've started having a conversation for 2 or 3 days, and then we, put it out there for everyone to see. And Joel, I think you said it best, Joel. I think that we give credit where credit due. Pelaez has done a great job and America has done a job and letting him do a great job. And now we're seeing the fruits of his labor, and we have been for the past 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
Oh, I thought Joel was with us. Was Joel not with us?
I am here.
Yeah. No, I was asking you, Joel.
Oh, I'm sorry. Come again.
I was saying that you gave Pelaez a lot of credit for America's recent success, and you think a lot of it is due to continuity. So I wanted you to elaborate on that.
Yeah, you could just see in the way he was working, and also how he prioritized whatever proceso, the word that gets thrown around a lot in Mexican soccer. But he prioritized it with, and I saw it with like Turco, how he was, he had been doing good, but at the same time Turco was
Sorry, Joel.
Turco was going off and doing his own thing, which I thought was just very disrespectful. Taking off in the weekend to go jet set to Argentina or to watch a friendly game at the Vatican. It's just, So I mean, he did what he had to do, and he did it with Matosas, who they couldn't agree on what players to bring in for the club, and.
I'll also point out though, one of the things that I've noticed is that between Piojo, Turco, Matosas, and now Ambriz, none of those 4 coaches have really played the same style or identical. And I think, that kind of leads me to believe that Pelaez is smart enough not to basically micromanage the way the team's gonna function, but I think he has enough. I think he does enough to basically challenge the coaching staff to make sure that they're being prepared and they're doing what they're supposed to do, but not to the point where he's micromanaging. Okay, I want you to play this guy. I want you to play this guy, or you're gonna do this, or you're gonna do that. And I think he's letting the coaching do their jobs. Like for example, Matosas, to me, out of the 4 coaches that have been with America, Matosas for me, for some reason, I just didn't feel it. I think he was I think he was a little too careless.
Do you think he was too pretty to coach America? I mean, when I think of an America coach, I think of like a Don Ramon or La Puente. Matosas just, he looked like he was. More to be standing on a street in Italy, getting ready to have a coffee with a lady. It just looked like he was coaching.
He was wearing those white shoes, and like when I'm thinking of those white shoes, I'm thinking of Chevy Chase in National Lampoons. The ones that Randy Quaid gave.
Speaking of clothes, I was wondering. It was too bad that Daniel Preciado is not with us tonight. A gentleman who was a big Santos fan, and Santos, I got to tell you, that was exciting as hell. The way that they ended their game with Pachuca, but skinny jeans did not advance, and I was wondering, and Dan didn't answer when I asked him earlier in the week if he was wearing sympathy skinny jeans to help him in the coping process of losing. So I have to ask you, Ronnie, when America finally crashes out, and they do, they've won a lot of liguillas, but they've lost a lot of them too. Do you put on your La Puente hat for a couple of days to help yourself with the coping process?
No.
He gets a flat top.
No, I don't get a flat
top.
Get
the nacho flat top.
No, I just start beating my walls, and then just start fixing them the next day. No.
So what you're saying is that when America loses, we should all like buy futures and drywall because you're going to go through so much of it.
Hell yeah. There's this one little section of the wall in the room that I just, oh, shit,
Yeah.
No,
Knives. You use knives also, stabbing things.
stabbing things.
Fernando.
Like I said, I watch games. I watch games. I don't like watching games with a lot of. In fact, I like watching. Especially when like Mexico plays and when America plays. I like to watch the games by myself.
Yeah.
I scream a lot at the TV.
My wife actually can't handle it when she can watch anything with me, but she cannot watch, like specifically Mexico. She says that makes her way too nervous, and she has to leave. She's gone. I won't see her for 2 hours. And then she'll call right around when the game is over, and she'll know immediately what the mood will be like when she returns. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. Fernando, your team's down 1-0. Is there any chance at all that Monterrey wins this series and goes to the final?
Actually, the real question should be: does America still have a chance? Because they gotta go play at La Tamalera, so that's really the question because there's already no doubt that Monterrey is gonna get a positive result. How big? That's the question.
So you're saying that not only they're going to win, but it's going to be by how much? So you're
Well,
saying over and under 4-0 is 4-0 a good barometer of where you think it's going to go?
Well, if you look at this game, it was back and forth, and it was at Azteca. If you look at it, Monterrey had the most possession playing away.
That doesn't mean anything.
Absolutely does mean. It means that America was chasing the ball. That means that America, barely got a positive result. So going to Monterrey, it's going to be totally different game.
So what you're saying is your expectation was a tie, but if America had to win, they might as well just win by 1-0 because it ain't going to matter. Is what you're saying, Fernando?
Absolutely. That's the way they basically Monterrey ran them over tonight.
It was 57% possession in favor.
Yeah, dude.
That's barely.
57%.
Prince talk about possession reminds me of Sampaoli's quote.
Yeah, but
Sampaoli's quote about the girl at the bar.
Hey, but the difference is that the girl still hasn't left yet. There's still.
So you're saying that you're still playing.
The game's over, dude.
You're still.
No, there's still one more game.
No, this match.
The series is the girl's still in the house, man. So.
Now let me ask you this, Fernando. If Monterrey wins, does that mean that America pulled a Cruz Azul and like they just when they had a chance to advance, they didn't? I mean, any time a team loses the lead, was that forever known as a Cruz Azulada? Forever and ever?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like Cruz Azulearon, and
so
just like they did
let me ask you this. So last Saturday night, I mean, you have to admit, you puckered a little bit when it went 2-0.
You know what?
You can admit it. It's okay.
I was out with some friends. I was having drinks. By that time, I don't think I even felt it down there anymore. So I can't.
Oh, because it was so tight.
It was so drunk, man. I couldn't really.
Well, that's different. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't.
So
really
you had no idea. You had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, I should have worn some Depends, man. Because oh my god.
Oh, so you did. What you're saying is that you were very nervous.
No, I was just having a lot of fun watching the game.
I'll just want you to. Oh, see, here comes the senator. The senator is starting to talk. It's okay, Fernando. It's okay, Fernando.
No, I enjoyed the game. Yes.
You said that you went through a roller coaster of emotions, I believe is what you're saying. Is that correct? Would I be correct in saying that?
Oh, the finale, the ending was amazing.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the whole game. It was a roller coaster of emotions.
The
had some highs and lows. You had some highs and lows. Okay. All right, Senator. We'll resume our questioning a little bit later. So
Okay,
you
no
can
problem.
relax. Take a sip of water. It's okay, Senator. We'll be all right. All right.
Okay, I'm here.
So back to this game, Chiquis. Did you feel that Monterrey at any point was gonna tie this game?
Yeah, they had some chances. I think Aldo de Nigris missed one that was right in front of the goal. I think there might have been another, but compared to America's chances, they had less. America had more chances at goal. There was a few opportunities for Monterrey, but
Well, see, that was the
Tigres
difference
looked
to me
better.
between this game and the one that they had last week against Tigres. Is that they had maybe what 2 or 3 shots on goal this game. They didn't make it against Tigres. They did, and that's the only. And that's it's a crazy game. It's like what Ronnie always says about it, like soccer and boxing. It's the same thing. You can just crush a guy for 9 rounds. In the 10th round, he
Yeah, I think Monterrey's mm, uh, their weakness is their defense. They got Efrain Juarez who made the mistake for the goal.
Edgar
Homie was
Castillo's
getting
even
tore
worse.
up. Sambuesa made Homie look like a fool a couple of times. You got the young guy Montes. He's like their best player in Basanta, who's over the hill as well.
Isn't that
So
incredible that Montes is what 19 years old, barely 19, and he's clearly Monterrey's best player. I'm sorry,
yeah,
excuse me, Monterrey.
like I said, he's the only one back there. He's young, he's still new and stuff.
He did make one mistake, but that how what's it called? I don't know if you guys saw towards the end that they cleared it, and then I believe I don't know who it was. I think it was I don't know if it was Ayoví who did a little globito over the America player. I was like, oh Jesus Christ, that was beautiful, you know. And the biggest question though that I was having throughout this whole game was, what the hell's wrong with Osorio? How come hitting cap? You know,
Giovanni.
Jonathan Orozco, Johnny, Jonathan Orozco, man. I couldn't believe it.
I agree with that. He wasn't he's not as good as the other three. I mean, in this game he had some good okay saves, but they weren't spectacular.
No,
He
what are
was
you
in the
talking
right
about,
place.
man?
But do
He
they
is
have
the
to be
best goalie in the
spectacular to
league.
be a good save? Say, oh well, he was so out of position in this other one that he had to really jump to stop it. I mean,
Yeah, I mean
that part
reflexes
of being a goal.
and good athleticism. That's what I consider spectacular. He
All right,
was
I see what you're saying.
Speaking of goalkeepers, what are you guys thinking of Hugo Gonzalez?
I
Trash.
really like him. I
If
Fernando, this is the second time. Don't make me bring out the bad cop. Don't make me bring out the bad cop. I got the bad cop.
I'm
So
just saying, yeah, if you were gonna make comparison, Orozco and Hugo Gonzalez,
they were
who,
both similar. They
do-
both played good games today.
yeah, well,
how old is Hugo Gonzalez, Ronnie?
I don't know. I don't know. I know that he's like under 25, if I'm not mistaken.
look up Wikipedia, man.
Because Moises wasn't even on the bench.
Yeah, Moises is done.
Yeah, he was Doritos. He ate his last Doritos nachos.
But
So
I mean, a couple weeks ago, he came out with some pictures of him being ripped and all.
Yeah,
well, he was eating fat-free Doritos at that point. I guess.
1990 Hugo Gonzalez. He's 26.
26.
Yeah, 26. Okay.
Well, that's early. That's young for a goalie, honestly.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean he has a good 10 years ahead of him. No, I think he's going to be the America goalie for the next easily. Unless if he just gets crazy good, is going to be there for the next 10 years. I don't think that'll be. Well, so no one was surprised with the result. Now, next Saturday, I guess Saturday night. What happens, Fernando? Who wins? Quickly, go.
Monterrey.
Monterrey.
Absolutely.
You're saying 4, 5, 6, nothing. What do you think?
You know what? I'm not gonna go that far, but
You-
I will give you that they will win at least minimum 1-0, and I know that'll take them to penalties, but I know they're gonna.
No. They would advance because they're the second tiebreaker is posición en la tabla. So.
Then in that case, yeah, they're gonna win.
So you went from talking so much smack that they were going to win 5, 6. Oh, they're going to score so many goals. They're going to get tired. To they're going to maybe tie.
Wait, I don't remember me saying they're gonna win 4-0. I was just agreeing with you that they were going to win.
Okay,
There's a
all right.
difference.
Joel, are you still via melonanin
Oh snap!
for
I,
America?
you know, I think they might lose the game, but they'll win the series. That
Me
that
too.
two goal lead is just. I think a team like America knows how to that'll work in their favor. So
Two-goal
they could
lead.
lose
What are you
like
talking
two to
about?
one. They could lose 2-1
And
or
still advance.
yeah.
Oh, so you're saying that the away goal is the fact that Monterrey didn't get one is going to really hurt them?
Yes, sir. I was disappointed in Monterrey because I remember watching the game against Tigres, and I'm thinking, okay, everyone's been talking about Monterrey being the favorites for a long time to take the league title, and they just look pretty bad. And if Tigres hadn't self-destructed, which they did like in 2 minutes, I think they could have. We would have been watching Tigres America right now.
It would certainly be a lot more entertaining. No, I'm just kidding. But and again, that goes along the line of what we talked about their first game with Tigres last week. Is it was the exact same game. Orozco makes a ton of great saves, but the difference is that on the few chances that Monterrey got, they put them in and they won the game. So
Yeah, and I was telling Pern on the chat, you know, when your team is missing their chances, that's pretty much the recipe for
it's the worst thing
winning.
you can do.
Dude, the Nigris miss was just you know,
It brought back bad memories of when he would miss like that when he was with Chivas.
he never really played because he was always injured. So
That's right. He was always
they
hurt.
they Monterrey they sold us like damaged goods.
Well, Joel, I know that you're right now giving it high and hard on the bandwagon for a minute, but we cannot have a
Oh,
podcast without you hearing a little of this. So
Tienes el alma di bresciana, hueles a limpia rosa temprana. Guadalajara,
just a little, just to remind you that as dirty as you feel right now, you're still, where your heart is. So feel bad for you. Anybody else have anything? Oh, I'm sorry. I guess we have to go down the list. Well, I would say, Ronaldo, you care to chip in on your Saturday prediction?
Uh, I I have a feeling that America may pull it off. I think they'll pull it off. I mean, even if they lose, I think they have it in at least to score a goal where you're going to force the opposition, to score, two or more. Uh, I don't know. I think America will advance.
Well, let me ask you all this, and we'll talk about this one last topic before we get into the whole uh, Copa America thing. One thing I've noticed about these games and all of the Liguilla games, is it's been a really good advertisement for Liga MX. A really good advertisement. The games have been entertaining. They've been intense. The atmosphere has been fantastic in all the stadiums. They've been really good games. It's been a really good advertisement for the league. These are the kind of games that they should be showing in South America, Europe, the whole bit. They should do it like a condensed show. I mean, and this is where I think they have a really good chance to show and prove, mainly to the Mexican media most of all. Hey, you know what? Liga MX is at a very decent level, and here's the proof.
You know what, John? I mean, obviously, when you have players like Gignac that are going to Europe and talking about Mexico, but a couple of days ago, I was reading about Raul, who's, I think he's in New York, and he made a comment like, him being here in the United States, following, I think he's doing something with MLS, or I forget what he's doing exactly, but he said that he's had a little bit more access to Mexican football, and that he's basically, kind of impressed by it and the competitiveness. I think I think Liga MX is especially is going down. Is heading in the right direction. I mean, they're going to become a more global, brand. Um, I, as much as I don't really like that whole, that rule of 10-8 or whatever. I mean, I know why they're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, and then this is a huge difference between the Liga MX and what's happening in Europe is that in Europe, if you're in the EU, you have no obligation to put X amount of your own countrymen on the team.
Yeah,
There are teams that'll do that, like Bilbao and some other ones.
yeah,
But in that sense, I think that that the Mexican players do have a bit of an advantage. But yeah, we that's what I said. If Gignac has a huge Eurocopa, it's gonna make Liga MX look great for a bunch of players that maybe otherwise wouldn't you know get a look elsewhere. They can make good they can make good money.
yeah. I mean, going back to, I mean, like right. I was thinking about this a couple of days ago. I mean, you had Reyes, Jimenez, Ochoa, to a certain extent, Layun. I mean, there's like 5 or 6 players from America that are playing, that were playing with America that are in Europe now. So I mean, obviously, the teams either going to have to, to replace those Mexican players that left for Europe. Either they're going to have to come up from the ranks of the youth system, or they're going to have to be bought, from XYZ place. But no, like I would like to see that number just a little bit, down. But that's just
Yeah, if they were gonna do it, I would have felt better with 7,
yeah.
not 11. I mean, geez. Anyway, anybody else in it? I mean, do y'all think that this has been a good advertisement for the league as far as the quality of the games and the quality of the atmosphere?
Oh yeah, dude. The stadiums have been packed. Well, for the most part, Chivas didn't. I don't think they sold out.
Let me ask you this, and I'll ask the whole table this: if you knew nothing about Liga MX, but you were a soccer guy and you caught this game, would you stay and watch? If you knew of no league and you just happened to see two teams playing, you're like, who the hell are these teams? Would you stay and watch? Would you stay and watch this game?
Yeah, like Cheeky said, it was back and forth. There were a lot of times. I mean, it was back and forth. Although Monterrey was not as effective going down the last third of the field, but you could tell that it was back and forth. And
18 shots per team, I think, on goal.
Yeah,
18 apiece.
I think that's what I saw.
It was a quality
That's
match.
an awful lot of shots on goal. Maybe 18 shots. I would believe that. You know what's crazy? Years ago, when I was looking at, I was just curious how different the game was because I watched on FIFA when they first started out with the multimedia stuff. They would put they had whole games from, I guess the best game of the World Cup from 1966 on. So I watched the 1966 final once between Germany and England, and both teams had at least 30 shots on goal. I mean, it just was it was as if the defense just let them move it up and take a shot. It was like part of the gentleman's game. Oh, we're not going to play that much. It was crazy that they had that many shots on goal. And now you're lucky if your team gets maybe 5 shots on goal in the game to beat up.
Yeah, medio tiempo says tiros a gol, 18. I don't know if that means just shots or actually on frame.
That's crazy. Wow.
That's surprising. Monterrey, it's a great team with great attacking offense.
The greatest team in history.
Well, there's another stat on that. I think 5 shots total from the 3 players, Cardona, Pavon, and Funes Mori.
You should
Just
definitely
5.
look up the status how many yellow cards America got.
I think they got the same number as Monterrey, as a matter of fact. So I'm not
I
sure
don't
what
think
you're
so.
trying to say there.
So, no,
Okay.
check. Go ahead.
So let's move on. We have Copa America announcement. The 23 players came out. Juan Carlos Osorio names his list. A couple of guys on there, which of course that's the first question. Hey, why isn't this cat on there? Of course, we're talking about Giovanni, and he said, well, because of ethical reasons. I'm not gonna discuss why he's not on the team, but let's just say that he declined or whatever it was that he said. Or actually, that wasn't him. Who was it, Joel, that said that Giovanni had declined? Was that Osorio or was that Baños?
No, Osorio during the presser.
He did say it during the press conference because I didn't watch the press conference yesterday. I was busy. I was busy playing golf, so I missed it.
He
So
said
sorry.
because of ethical reasons, he didn't want to say anything, any of the reasons why he wanted to keep it between him and Giovanni. But he did say he declined.
Wow. And then Giovanni said, "Whoa, whoa, wait a second! I never said I declined." Is that right?
Well, he didn't comment on it. Like after the fact, he was being interviewed at an event with Head and Shoulders. That's pretty funny. Joel sent the link, but he didn't want to talk about it. But they kept on asking and asking, and he just declined us to say anything.
Well,
He
he did
did
talk
say
about
some
it.
things.
Yeah, he talked about it on Televisa, on Pasión, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm not a controversial guy. That like, it's not like it's not the kind of player I am." And you know,
I think that's the same interview, but when they asked him two things, one was like, "What? How do you feel about the fans being angry that you rejected the national team?" And he's like, "Whoa, I don't know about rejecting it." And then he said about the whole thing about I don't want to comment on it. Then later they asked him, "Did you want to go to the Copa America?" And he said, "When you're not on the list of 23, what can you do?" That to me was, I don't need any more than that, to confirm that it
Let's
wasn't his call.
let's be honest,
so
man.
I don't think it
Giovanni,
was Giovanni's call. I don't think Osorio made the call. I think somebody else made the call.
look, man. Giovanni's just not up to par. He's not at the same level
Dude,
as.
Fernando, I know that you was going to say that because he plays in MLS. That is not the point. The dude, if Giovanni's playing well, it doesn't matter where he's playing. You have to understand that. It just doesn't matter.
What you guys gotta understand is the players that are, right now on the list are playing at a higher level and they're playing
Yeah,
better.
but right now you're going off topic.
Right.
No, no,
But
no.
let me
It's
ask you this. Yeah, but we'll get back to him specifically here in
Yeah,
a
it's
second.
it's not about does he deserve to get called. It's about
Right.
FMF not being upfront about the decisions.
Exactly.
But one more thing
And
on this though.
go ahead.
Getting back on topic. Before I heard that before he had an interview before the list came out in the JCO press conference, Giovanni was interviewed and said that he was anxious to see if he was going to be on the list. So he indicated that he didn't know who was on the list or not. And then all of a sudden the list comes out and it is said that he rejected or declined the call. So that sort of doesn't make any sense. And I heard it was a Sirius XM interview or something that he was. I haven't heard it or anything.
Well, I saw
Chiquis has been
Giovanni
looking for it.
during the Fox Sports 1 game that they had against, who was it? I think it was Sporting Kansas City, and he scored a goal in the game. So they interviewed him after this. Hey, Copa America's coming up because it's on Fox, obviously, so they want to promote it. Said, what? They asked him, do you think you've done enough to merit a call up? He said, whether I've done, and enough to merit a call up, he says, I can't say. But he said, one thing I will say is that every time I wear that shirt, I wear it with pride. And he said it in English, which was, I'm impressed that his English is not that good. But I mean, Giovanni's the kind of guy that he might have a bad game, but he's always going to show up, and you know that he's can. I mean, you just can't not have a guy like that. But I do think it was a decision that was made by somebody other than the coach.
John, if you see the video of the interview where he's at the Head and Shoulders,
Hmm.
and he's answering the questions, and you could just see it in his face. He just looks gutted.
So his body language tells you that he. Well, that's the thing is that why don't you just say that? Hey, you know what? For this tournament, I don't think Giovanni had shown enough. This is blah blah blah. As he just started playing, I have guys who've been playing all season.
Look,
And that's fine.
man, you guys, let me give you guys my theory what happened in regards to Life MF. What happened is he knew he was not gonna make the cut. He probably got contacted. You know what? We have better players than you right now that are waiting. So he said, boy, they probably made is they know he's a talented player, and right now he's just taking a vacation in MLS. So he knows that he does have a future. I do admit that. So instead of burning a bridge, they just said, how about we'll make it in the press that you rejected it, so that way it doesn't bring your player stock down. You know what I mean? And that way it doesn't seem like we just didn't cap you because you're just not good enough right now. And to me
That's
that
a
sounds.
great theory. I don't think FMF has half the brains to come up with a scheme like that. I'm dead serious.
There's
Their
players who
PR, their public relations is and has been horrific, and it's been like that for years. They have no idea how to shape a message.
I could see Gio taking Oribe's place, or even
Or Jurgen
Lozano.
Damm.
What?
Yeah,
Are
Jurgen
you guys
Damm.
crazy?
Yeah, I mean
They're playing in
seriously.
La Liga
Who would
MX. They're playing better.
who would you
Jurgen
rather
Damm
have?
hasn't done anything for the national team.
Isn't
What?
right?
The last when they broke that what's it called?
Fernando,
That
I'm going to put
record
it to you
in
very
Honduras?
and very plainly. Giovanni is 27. He's working on 100 caps, right? He's
Okay,
scored, I don't
that's
know,
fine.
like 20 something goals.
No, he
If
tiene una buena
Giovanni's playing
trayectoria.
well, he not only needs to play for the national, he needs to start for the national team. Period. End of story.
You know
There's
what? I
no,
think that you're
it's not
just
even a discussion.
fanboys from here now.
It's
But
not
that's
a
okay.
fanboy thing.
Come on, dude. We have better players in the pipeline, dude.
Your hate for MLS is leaking through all over the place.
Exactly.
It's not he. It's,
If Giovanni was playing the same way in another league, we saw well, he would absolutely, that's no.
trust me, man. Like I personally think they were just trying to save face for Giovanni. And I
I
totally
mean, I would love to believe you because I think that would be a very stand-up thing for them to do. I just don't think they could ever come up with that. What I do think, however, is I think that they know that they can sell it better when they have an enemy, when they have a villain, and they, for whatever reason, the villain this time is going to be Giovanni, because when they're winning, they're going to say, "Mira lo que estamos haciendo sin Giovanni." And the minute they lose, and the minute they're down, say, "Pudo haber hecho la diferencia, pudo haber marcado la diferencia, Giovanni." And they go, "Claro que sí." Then the press will just totally be against Osorio from that point on. It'll if he doesn't make the semifinal, he is, and because of this Giovanni thing, he's toast.
And you know what? It
that's
was
fanboys,
Televisa.
man. Come on.
It was Televisa showing that interview.
Yeah, it was on Pasión.
But if I may, John, I'll give my theory.
Stand by.
Oh.
Hang on.
Welcome, Fantasy Island.
What is your major malfunction, numbnuts?
It's reality check time with Jolie.
Those young people are about to get a dose of reality.
Damn.
Go ahead, Joel.
No, I don't know if you guys remember there was a Partido Molero a few months back in I believe San Francisco, and they had like a lot of the promotion, like some of the billboards had like Guardado and Chicharo and some of the players that hadn't even been capped. So I mean, a lot of times why this happens is because a lot of the sponsorship and promotions. So when a company comes in, they don't just sponsor like the Mexican national team. They also want like a face. So they want certain players to represent, to showcase their products. So I think that's one of the things that happened with Gio, where I feel Osorio probably he feels he's not necessary, or he for whatever reason just felt whatever players he capped are a better option for him. But to leave out Gio, which I think is one of the big draws for Mexico, I think how do you explain it to the if you already like sold, you already have like signed deals and sponsorships, so it's better to say the player refused. You really can't force the player to play.
Maybe it was one of these deals where Osorio said, "You know what? I'm going to cap you, but I'm not going to play you. You're going to be in the bench. Unless a calamity happens, you ain't playing." Could that have happened?
I don't think so. Knowing Gio and what you were saying earlier about how he,
Gives
the
it his
pride he
all.
has for the national team and gives us it all.
Yeah, Joe.
I don't think he's like that. I don't think
Yeah, I agree.
he seems like he'll take any chance. He'll play any game. It could be in the backyard.
Do you feel, Albert, that Giovanni is a little more centered, or do you feel that he still needs to work out some of his demons?
I think he centered. Initially, I had a theory that was different from Joel's, but it makes sense what he was saying. I initially thought that he was, and this might have been just me joking around, but I thought since when he went to LA and to the MLS, and Osorio was, just saying, he's going to a lesser league. He's not going to be, he's not playing well. They left him off like a friendly or more later or whatever it was, and that was sort of surprising. And then whenever now he's playing and he's shooting, scoring goals and everything.
Oh, that's right. Because in that Molero, Giovanni was available because it wasn't even in season.
Yeah.
And
Now I thought, okay, now he's saying, okay, you didn't call me back then. I'm going to refuse this call up.
No, but I think he had gotten injured.
He was injured.
Well, his
Once
season
I'm
hasn't
sure
even
he was
started.
injured.
He was coming off it. He
Yeah.
was coming off the injury, so he was starting to play and train. He could have probably played, but I think he is centered. To answer your question, I think he is centered now, and he seems, based on that interview, he seems mature, and based on what Joel says, it seems to me that Osorio is pretty much being played like a puppet a little bit. If this is true that he just didn't want to call him, but he's making up this stuff about Giovanni.
And guys, we saw it a few weeks back when Osorio was hinting at calling up Pulido, and then you have Baños and Necio, they all having a different
So he gets shut
reason
down.
as to why Pulido wasn't called up.
Yeah, it's like he wasn't in the know fully about the gentleman's pact, and then he opened his mouth when he shouldn't have. They came and they told him, they schooled him on it, and they said, oh, and then he comes back and says, oh, okay, no more Pulido.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, boys. Now, I mean, I honestly believe that if they don't make the semifinals, and the press will say it's because he didn't have Giovanni on the team, and that'll be the beginning of the end. If he doesn't start off the Hex well, then he'll be gone by the end of the year. I can guarantee you that. Now, as far as the rest of the team on the Copa America or the Copa America, see, Ronnie, what you've done to me. You got me going too. It's terrible. Yeah. They're in my head. I can't deal with it. But anyway, so as far as the rest of the Copa America, are there any other surprises? I mean, it seemed like it was a list that if all of us wrote down 23 names, we probably would have gotten 20 of them right.
I was surprised Orozco was not on it.
And he wasn't even on the list that to pare down from. So
Actually, I think he was.
He was.
Orozco?
Yeah, he mentioned, because they asked him at the press conference also about Orozco, but he said that he specifically said, Pern, that he is not up to the level of the three that he called up.
That's a big
I have to agree with him.
Well, to me, and I'm sorry for stepping in, but the travesty of not taking Picolin, to me, should be a bigger story than the whole Giovanni thing. Picolin,
if it was up to a vote, Picolin would be the starter, man.
yeah.
I'm surprised Pern is having some doubts on Osorio, given how much praise he likes to give him.
Hey, I'm being praised on what he's done.
That's right. That's one of the things he did is leave out your boy.
No, he's what he's done before that. He's done great things. He's
So this is the beginning of the end for you. He didn't take Orozco, so you've turned your back on him now.
I haven't turned my back on him.
This is the trust test.
But it's just that I think
the shoulder's starting to turn, Pern.
I'm pointing out that he made a mistake, in my opinion.
Pern, this is where you let yourself drop and you know that Osorio has your back.
Fernando, did you bite your lip and look down and shake your head like, oh man, I can't believe we did that? Because that's like the first step, Fernando. That's the first step.
Oh yeah, there's 5 stages of grief.
Yes. So and then no real surprises.
I was surprised with Yasser Corona, but he
Yeah,
gave a
but
good.
he's been saying for 3 weeks that Yasser is gonna, God help us if Moreno gets like suspended for yellow cards, because the level from Moreno to Yasser is pretty precipitous.
I'm not surprised with Marquez, but I don't see why he's still in the national team. I think he's past his without due respect, because he's done a lot, but I think he should have retired
Yeah,
when
he's
he
gonna
won
be. I
the
mean, he cannot start. They're not really gonna start him, are they?
They
and
probably
and,
will.
and
Midfield.
then he's just a walking red card right now. I don't and they say that because of the locker room and all this, and it's like Mexico has a pretty united locker room. It's not like you don't really need this guy.
I think for motivation, leadership, that
But
kind of stuff.
you have Guardado, you have like Chicharo, you have guys that have
Yeah.
been already like in 2 World Cups, and you still need a guy that's been in 4. I
That's a good
mean,
point.
dude, are we that lacking in confidence?
I
Mhm.
think
Well,
your
leadership
anti-Atlas
was a problem before.
is
Go ahead,
getting.
Fernando,
No, I
please.
think Joli's anti-Atlas sentiment is getting the best of him because Marquez is still a great leader, man, and his leadership is probably more important than whatever he's lacking.
Yeah, but it's Guardado's turn to carry that captain's armband.
Hey,
See,
Rafael,
even on the chat, Salvador V, thank you for listening, says Marquez has done stupid jerarquía, and a word that I have to clutch my pearls to say. I won't say it. But yeah,
it's probably another Chiva fan.
Marquez is 38. There's more leadership on the team, as Joel puts up. I mean, Andres Guardado is captain PSV, so I think he can handle Captain Mexico from here on out. Now, one player who I wasn't surprised to not see his name on the list was Carlos Vela. Somebody pointed out today, I forget who it was, but they said that they looked through the season and realized that Hector Moreno scored more goals this season than Carlos Vela did. You can't put a guy on a team like that. So no big surprise at all that he did not make the list. See, and that's one of the good things that's actually happened
That's Metalero.
in
Uh,
who's that?
I thought that was Salvador V.
Oh, well,
It's our good,
another one who
good Cruz
believes that.
Azul fan, Cruz Azul friend.
Oh, we have a Cruz Azul fan on.
That's Salvador V.
¿Y la Cruz Azuleó?
Poor guy. Now I have no idea what's going on with Carlos Vela. It's kind of sad, It's just if a guy just doesn't feel it, then he doesn't feel it, and you just have to, I guess, accept his decision and move on.
That's exactly how I felt about Giovanni, man. So,
He's in San Francisco right now, Carlos Vela.
Well, let me put it this way, Fernando. Giovanni, in the 6 or 7 games he's played, has scored more goals than Carlos Vela did all season. And Carlos Vela is a starting forward, and he played 38 games. So he scored a goal every, 10 games?
it's terrible. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's not been a good season for him. He's definitely on the outs there, and I don't know how anyone would consider giving him big designated player money. I just don't see it. A lot of people say that, oh, he'd be a great draw in MLS. I don't think Carlos Vela would be a good draw because he missed out on his opportunity to become better known because he's never had a career in Mexico. So they don't know him as a Chiva or from Cruz Azul or from Atlante or from wherever. They only know that he's played in Europe his entire career. So he doesn't have that much of a following like Chicharito.
But John, if he's scoring GOS goals that we know he's capable of, don't you think the bandwagon will just reemerge?
Well, sure. I'm not going to disagree with you. All I'm saying is I don't think that I guess what I'm saying is because of the fact that he didn't do that when he had the best opportunity to, he hasn't endeared himself as much to the public as somebody like Chicharito who did it first for Chivas and then did it for Mexico and continues to do it for Mexico. Carlos Vela, had an opportunity to do it when he had coming off the best season of his life and didn't do it. It was very unfortunate for everybody. I just don't think he has the marketable qualities that MLS is looking for in order to be a designated player. I don't think he merits it. So I don't think if he wants to play, I think his future is in Liga MX.
But don't you think there's a big contingent of fans that like, they'll see Vela one day in the MLS and then the next day he's in the NBA game. They're more relatable.
That's the Pocho lifestyle, man.
Hey, there's a big contingent of us.
Yeah.
Hey,
You might get a good
Chiquis,
follow.
you'll be surprised, man.
Well, let me ask you this: if I were a team like Cruz Azul, who's got money, can offer a pretty decent, living in Mexico City in the south part of town is pretty nice. There's obviously
Be right back, guys.
really nice places. Don't you think a team like Cruz Azul would benefit from maybe throwing out some feelers and seeing about bringing Vela in, take a chance on him, if he still wants to play?
I would if I was them.
I mean, he's going to make a better living in Mexico. He's going to make more money. Yeah, I mean, it seems like
Serge says he'll never play in Mexico. I find it hard for him to play in Mexico also.
Well, my point is, I don't think he has a choice, is what I'm saying. If he wants to continue playing,
Other than MLS, I think MLS is the best.
I don't think MLS is going to pay what he thinks he deserves.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't think that he's earned it. I guess that's my point. I don't think he's earned it. He hasn't earned designated player status.
Well, it wasn't just last year when he was scoring pretty consistently.
Yeah, but he did it, at 9:00 in the morning on a Sunday. He didn't do it in the Mundial when he had a chance.
Maybe they'll throw in some benefits like free Miami Heat tickets or something like that. free
Some season passes.
Yeah. You gotta meet 10 celebrities every 3 months.
I wouldn't put it past. I mean, MLS, I suppose that, they could certainly offer him a decent salary, but I think that if he, wants to make more, I think it's going to be better for him to try. If he even wants to play. And I don't think there's a team in Spain that would touch him at this point with the way that he's kind of blowing up his bridge in San Sebastian.
Salvador says Vela doesn't have any respect for FMF after that instant, after what happened in Monterrey. And Serge said that, Vela would probably go to MLS even without the DP money. Pretty good points.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll find out. That's for sure.
His desire to play was what worries me. He's mentioned in the past that it's not that he doesn't watch it. It's not his favorite sport.
Joel, yes?
Yeah, speaking of DP, where's Ronnie?
He jetted out. I don't know.
Yeah, he's gone.
Release the crack!
Oh, that's the wrong one. Hit the wrong one.
He's still salty over
He
seemed a bit salty over that.
Licking his wings from Russell.
That Pern bet.
Yeah, he knew that bet was coming, so he decided to jet. So good.
Well,
I'll still bet him even though I'm at a disadvantage now.
I agree, Pern. I'm a bit disappointed that El Huila Mayor had little trust in his team. And not only, not only did he not trust his team, but it's when they're celebrating their centenario. That's even less, that's even worse, I should say.
Hey, it happens, some people just either it's against their religion, or which I don't think so is for Ronnie. I don't think he has a religion, and I don't know.
I just think he doesn't bet. I don't think he
bet. He has bet. He beat me in a bet.
You know what Ronnie would say if he was here? He would say,
Y usted no me va a decir qué carajo tengo que hacer.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He's stubborn, man. He just doesn't want to comply to everybody's pressure.
No le voy a discutir con usted.
Exactly, and he's going to have to give you his responses. And if you push him, he can get a little angry.
¡Cállese, carajo!
So,
Well, it's disappointing. But
all right, I guess we should. Yes, Joel. Before we move on.
I have to leave on that note, so I'll be making early exit today.
Well, we're about to wrap it up, so do what you need to do. Good to talk. We'll talk. Are we doing this again Sunday, or are we just doing it weekly?
After the match?
We need to talk it over because who knows who's going to be available. I know I probably won't be.
Yeah, Fernando, Sunday I'm going to be at work.
Okay, well, then we'll just do it weekly then. No big deal.
Word.
Excellent. Well, very quickly before we wrap it up, if you guys have anything to say about the León Pachuca series, that other semifinal.
Did not watch. Not because it didn't interest me. I just
it hasn't happened. It's happening. See, you have no idea that it's actually happening tomorrow. So I'm just curious if anybody has any thoughts before we wrap it up tonight.
Will not watch.
You don't care. You don't care.
Pachuca beats them.
I think it's actually pretty interesting. We'll see how much they actually play. I told Joel earlier in the week that since Pachuca or León won the first time they played in the Liguilla, that this time it's Daddy's turn. So I'm pretty sure Pachuca's going to win. It has been ordained as such. This is my personal belief.
Well, whichever it is, Monterrey's going to beat them.
So it doesn't matter. It's just cannon fodder on the inexorable march of Monterrey's latest conquest.
Yes.
I see. Chiquis, anything else to add?
No, I don't think so. I think that's pretty much it.
Excellent. Well, on that note, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. This has been the 2-0 football podcast, Yamarito production brought to you by soccerchronicle.com. Thank you for joining us on the chat on YouTube. Really appreciate y'all's input. Salvador and Sergio, we appreciate it. And we will talk again next week. Thank you, gentlemen, for another very lovely show.
Later, dudes.
See you later. What's the outro?
Hasta la próxima.
Hasta luego, mecadero.